the United States of America. We have a very interesting friend of mine on today. I've known him actually since the pandemic, 2020. We met online, and then we got to go to several masterminds together from different fabulous leaders to enrich our brains and get even more involved in the world and grow as people to become our best selves. Dan and I will chat about where we've been, but he is so exciting because I am so excited for him because his upcoming book is coming out. And are going to try to circle our talk around the title, that's a working title in his new book called Aging Gracefully, Planning Thoughtfully, Financial Planning Strategies for Dementia and Long-Term Care. So whether it's for you planning out your future, which I would recommend, or your parents or someone in your family, these would be good tips to put in place like now. So without further ado, our own Dan Altmire, who was born in Washington, D.C., went to Highland Elementary, Wheaton High School, the University of Rochester, Montgomery College, and the University of Maryland Global Campus Living. So here he is, the man of the hour, Mr. Dan Altmire. Woohoo! Yes. We should start by saying travel tips for when you get older so that you can travel in ease and comfort. Dan taught me about Clear, as a matter of fact, and saved me from getting on the wrong train, yeah. Hi, Dan. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for inviting me to your show. I've been watching it as you've been having some fantastic guests, and I guess the bottom of the barrel was here today, so you called on me. I
am booked to August, baby. I'm like, no,
there you go. Wow, that's fantastic.
People are asking to get on. I'm like, sure, I'll see you in September. It's so fun. I really enjoy it.
I'm quite honored to be here, and I just want to clear up one thing for everybody in your introduction. You said that we met online. I just want to make sure that we were on an online class together, not that other met online thing that's out there.
Just in case. But he is a happily married man, and he has 3 children and 7 grandchildren, all under the age of 7, guys. So no hanky-panky over here. Although we do feature our blue glasses.
Yes.
So Dan, you've come so far since I've met you. We've had so much time. Let's do a brief history of our relationship. So you mentioned online, then we went to Wild Dunes.
With the Gittimer
and
Soto
yep,
group.
That was very fun. I always like the ones on the beach.
Yeah, they were really great.
Yep, that was very fun. And then we did New Orleans. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah.
And then we did LA for the Napoleon Hill Foundation.
Yep.
And we met new friends. We gave people hugs, and of course Washington D.C. We had a lunch with Ken and Jill Walls.
Yeah,
and joined us. So it's like a budding little relationship. Dan,
yeah, we are, and we're only miles away from each other too. So
isn't that crazy? Yes. So Dan's all about embracing your destiny, solidifying your legacy, and living with dignity. And he's had a lot of fun things. I remember you were doing Walking with the Guru.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. I had been, so I've been in financial services since 1986. And most of that time was in employee benefits. And most of that time was trying to get myself, so I'm looking at you in the camera. So
our line up got moved. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. There, this is a little bit better.
It is a little better. Thank you.
Oh, there we are. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I see you now.
That is our Eric Rodriguez, the man behind the curtain, making sure that we are our eye lines together. Thank you.
He is the Wizard of Oz, the Eric of Oz.
Yes.
Thank you, Eric. Now I don't have to put my neck in a whole bunch of different positions. But anyway, I've been in the financial services business for a long, long time. And I spent about 25 years in leadership roles at Aflac. And that was a great run, served a lot of people, trained a lot of agents, led a group of up to 150 agents at a time. And had a wonderful run with a wonderful company. But right when I met you, in 2020, I had stepped down from a management role. I still have clients with Aflac in place, but I was looking for my next challenge, and so getting into the groups. Like Gittimer's group, Grow Live Academy with Ken Walls, and Team 17 with my friends in Great Britain. Many of you are watching. Hi, yeah. Hey guys, Michael Heppel, and David Newman, and a bunch of other people. I was trying to find what my next calling was going to be for, what I was going to be excited about. I was looking for that. And it just happened that this whole transition happened during the pandemic, when everybody was reinventing themselves, and
still are.
And one of the things that our friend Jeffrey inspired me to do was to start reading some of the old authors from around the turn of the 20th century.
I love those.
Yeah, and all the way back to Samuel Smiles with the first self-help book, and even to Ralph Waldo Emerson. And in reading all those things, and what else can you do when you're in the pandemic? I would go out and I'd walk about 2 hours every day and listen to books on tape while I was doing that, or walk my dog Snickers. Snickers the golden doodle, Snickers the doodle. And but I would be listening to these books, and I realized, hey, why don't I just share things with people? And so I just started recording Walking with the Guru. I wasn't the guru. The people that I was talking about were the guru in that. But
really, I always thought you were the guru.
Well, thank you. But I'm still working on that Om stuff,
Okay.
But anyway, but anyway, so yeah, I did about 250 online videos on all kinds of crazy subjects, and things that I was reading, and thoughts that I was having. And fun thing that I did for me was, when I turned 70, I realized that was 14 5-year periods. Get my math teacher would kick me. 14 5, and so I did 14 videos talking about each 5-year segment of my life, little things that I remembered from segments of my life. And that was a lot of fun. I got some cool feedback on that, and it was fun, but it really wasn't something that was going to be my path to the future. So it was just fun, and hopefully somebody got something out of it. So
Grace has a question for you. Excuse me. She wants to know how the books you're reading inspired you.
Oh my gosh. One of the things that was so amazing, Grace, was Amazing Grace.
I was just thinking the same thing.
There you go. Okay. Well, there you
I
go.
love her.
So Grace, one of the amazing things that I found was that like Ralph Waldo Emerson was writing in the 1830s, and it was current today. I mean, he was talking about things that were very, you could definitely apply them to today. Orin Sweat Martin at the beginning of the 20th century, his wisdom transcends the years. And when you look at all these guys, Napoleon Hill got most of his stuff from these other guys that had written before him, actually, and his interviews. But it's amazing the wealth of knowledge and thought that was coming around. It was called the New Thought movement. And if you really want to read some really great stuff that can empower you, look for New Thought literature.
New Thought literature. Okay. And you know what? Everything old is new again, right?
I hope I am.
Absolutely.
I think so.
Before you got into finances, though, I think your first job was with the cabs, and then you went into the ride on Montgomery County government busing. Can you believe it? He has some very interesting stories that got him through all of this winds and turns of his life. Do you want to touch on those for a moment?
Sure. I was just thinking the other day about, actually, one of my first jobs was when I was a freshman in college. I was at the University of Rochester. I was going to night classes there, and so my father said, "Well, University of Rochester costs a lot of money, and you need to get a job." So I ended up getting the dream job for an 18-year-old boy, which was I worked at a toy store.
Ooh.
I worked at a toy store at Christmas.
Ooh, which one?
It was just some local toy store up in Rochester.
Did you get to be an elf?
I did not know, but I was like the star little guy. But of course, once Christmas was over, they didn't need me anymore because they had people that actually had families and stuff like that were working there, and I was going to college, so they let me go, but they found me another job at Richard's Stationery Store, which was like 3 stores away from there, and so I worked at like a card shop. It was like a Hallmark store, and
but it was cool, right? Because it had cool papers and pens and
more
on like the stationery side.
Any kind of card you'd ever want to send to somebody, so that was that was just a little part-time job, but it just came to me the other day, and I was remembering about that. But the owner of that store told me a story that sounded like The Godfather, but The Godfather wasn't written for another 10 years. So, about how he needed help, and some people helped him, and then they told him he had an offer that he couldn't refuse.
Ooh.
That was an interesting story.
Did everything turn out all right?
Well, I'm still here, so I wasn't the focus of the problem. So, but anyway, so I did that. I worked at at the Bethesda Naval Hospital, which is now the hi Clifford. I worked at Bethesda Naval Hospital on the roads and grounds crew, and that was really interesting. Now that's called Walter Reed, but it used to be.
My mother died at Walter Reed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I know it well.
yeah, I'm sure you do. And then I ended up when I turned 21, I've been driving all my friends around forever. And so then I just said, why don't I get paid for this? And so I started driving a taxi cab, helped finance my way through college. I
Beautiful.
financed my way through that. And then I ended up going to somehow or another getting a job as a bus driver. And then a year and a half into that, they made me the manager of half of the system. So it was kind of interesting. So I don't know what bus stories you remember from me,
I
but
like the one that you are a leader and you made sure that everything was always running smoothly and everyone really pitched in, but when now and then when something happened, you even jumped on the bus to make sure that the children were picked up on time. I particularly liked that story when you told it.
yeah, well, it wasn't just children. We were at transit buses, but yeah, no, we had a commitment to, as far as I believed, we had a commitment to our customers, to the public, that we wouldn't miss trips and that we wouldn't be early. Nothing worse than being outside in 8-degree weather. Yes, we used to have 8-degree weather in the mornings and in the winter around here, and the bus is either late or early, and you just missed it, or there's no bus coming at all because somebody didn't come to work. So I would certainly jump out there and get in the bus and lead from the front, I guess. I mean, the key thing is everybody in that organization, when I was there, knew that was our role. That we would do everything possible to make sure that people would be picked up on time and safe.
So
And
this was the beginning of developing your strong work ethic. And what do you think is your strongest quality? Grace wants to know.
oh well, that's my corny jokes, actually, Grace.
Oh,
But
you have one? Give her one.
no, they just come out. We talked about that in the green room. I don't have a routine or a shtick. Like some of our friends, uh, like Steve Rizzo and everything. Steve's got great stuff and he's brilliant. But I just kind of work off of whatever's in the process. So I might come out with one or two corny things as we go along, but who knows?
Okay.
But really, Grace, I think my strongest quality is the ability to see a lot of divergent things around me and then put them together and come up with a solution that other people don't.
Mm-hmm. I think that probably really works for your business now while you're helping people
Absolutely.
understand
I talk
all of
to
that
people all
stuff.
the time that think that there's no way they can get anything done, and that's because they don't deal with long-term care issues on a regular basis, and they don't have access to other people that are experts in what they're going through, and I do, and I can put them together with other people, or I can, there are things that we can, my company and I can do to help them.
So just in between buses and now, you developed yourself through all of these other things. You went after you did the bus, you tried out selling houses and real estate, and you did
I
that
did that
for
well.
quite a
Yeah,
while. It looks
you
like you did
done a
all these
lot of
jobs
research.
simultaneously.
Yeah, I was doing that simultaneously to that, and actually, how I got into financial services was while I was doing real estate part time. I would get people had been my clients that would call me up and ask me for investment advice.
Hmm.
And I go like, oh, well, do you want to buy a townhouse? Do you want to buy an apartment building, multifamily? Do you want to get a single family house? What kind of investment are you looking for? And they go, no, I'm not interested in that. And I go, oh, well, I can help you buy a bus. You know, but I mean, what else? And they go, well, no, it's something else. And I go, why did you ask me? And they'd say, well, because I trust you.
There's your strongest quality.
And yeah, well, I am pretty trustworthy. So, but if it had happened once or twice, then I would have just said, "Isn't that crazy?" But it kept happening, and then one of the other part-time guys at the real estate office that I was at was getting out of the military, and he was studying to be a certified financial planner. And I said, "Oh, I've probably got a little time every day I can throw at that too." So I did that, and
Excellent. That was a good choice.
I actually got my certification before I got my insurance license. So
Look, thank you, Clifford. Yes, he always was the trustworthy guy. I agree. Look at that.
Thank you, Clifford.
Yes, nice accolades from your audience. Woohoo! And so he's getting more trustworthy by getting more ammunition for his toolbox with all of the pieces of finance. So let's see. Then you went to New York Life, and then you became a consultant for lifetime benefit consultants. And then tell us about NAIA.
I was actually the owner of Lifetime Benefits. So,
oh, even better. Yes, sweet.
And we did a lot of employee benefit, group employee benefits and everything. And that's kind of how I got hooked up with Aflac. I was seeing that my clients were getting larger and larger deductibles and higher out-of-pocket liability, but they weren't getting more savings. And so a lot of them were finding that they were having a hard time, and that extra money from supplemental insurance was a great thing. So I started offering my clients Aflac as part of our solutions, and at a point there, we were the number one broker office in Aflac in the Maryland area. But Aflac wasn't doing that much business in Maryland anyway. So I mean, I was number one, but not, it wasn't like I was number one in the country or anything like that. But
you could have been. I remember the commercial.
They got a new manager, and the new manager invited me to come to his office, and I thought, oh well, I'm the hotshot broker. He's going to want to kiss my ring or something like that, and no, he offered me a job.
Oh, sweet.
As a district sales coordinator, and I had no idea. I didn't want to really do that. And when I got there, I wasn't ever thinking about doing that. And his name is Brad Jones, and he was very convincing. And that was kind of the beginning of my Aflac career. So.
And you still do that today, right? It's still part of your portfolio?
It's part of my portfolio, yeah. And I still have group clients with Aflac. It's a great company, and kind of interestingly, after being a district sales coordinator there, just kind of like when I was a bus driver, a year and a half later, I became a regional sales coordinator. So,
of course you did. So now we're going to
did that for about 17 and a half years, and then spent some time as a district sales coordinator again. And then I was looking for a new challenge. So again, that's what brought us to 2020. And me, the big thing of 2020 was I got to meet Cynthia Manion.
Woohoo!
And the rest is history. So
and the question we all wanted to know is, how do you handle so many components of your life all at the same time? If you look at your LinkedIn profile, Like it's like you're working every job still.
Yeah, well, I'm also in involved with our national association, the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. I was the president of the Greater Washington, D.C. chapter for 2.5 years, spent 10 years on their board, on the board of their charity, the Helping Hands Society. We have a board meeting tomorrow. And
you have your 13th annual legacy luncheon coming up.
We do, yeah.
Yes, I believe it's May 2nd.
That is correct. You're the scourer of LinkedIn. That's
Washington good. Golf Club in Arlington, Virginia. Yes,
that's right.
And you know what? I might have to go because you have a Redskin, the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins, being there. I love our Washington Redskins. Doc is right. Be there.
I know.
I was the 1982 Super Bowl in San Diego.
I don't remember whether it was in San Diego. I do remember going to the playoff game where they rang the Dallas quarterback's bell, little Dexter Manley, and
so all those guys probably need your services because it goes in with longevity and care and dementia with all those hits our poor Redskins got in their head and all football players. So you want to start in on your story about longevity and care and dementia and
yeah, sure. And that kind of goes in with the same timeline of me searching for what I wanted to do. I thought when I decided to step away from pursuing new employee benefit accounts unless they were referred to me, I was searching for things, and I thought it was going to be outside of the insurance and financial planning industry. I thought I was going to be going in a different direction. My plan was to hang around with a bunch of really cool people that were really smart and successful, and that eventually I would find
would rub off on you.
find the opportunity. I would find the opportunity. The opportunity would find me. So I believed that my destiny was in front of me. I just wasn't sure which direction I was going to go. And back to Grace's thing, there are a lot of things that I can do, but the question is, where would I have sustainable passion for doing it?
The most important factor.
Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should be doing it. So, true that. So anyway, I was in my search, but also during that time, in 2019, my stepfather, Jack, who had outlived my mom and had ended up moving to a continuing care community, Erickson community in Montgomery County called Riderwood.
Riderwood,
wonderful place where he got to socialize. He had his own apartment, had his own car. So, when you're a guy in a senior community, first of all, there are not a lot of guys that make it there. Okay. And then second of all, you have a car.
Woohoo. Hot stuff.
Exactly. I mean, it's like being the 16-year-old in high school with a Corvette. Everybody wants to be your friend. So he had a great time there. He was doing great. But in 2019, at the age of 97 and a half, he had a fall. I lost you.
That's okay. I can hear you. Keep going.
Okay. I just didn't know if I was having internet problems.
Just keep
But he
going,
had a
baby. The
fall.
show must go on.
There you go. Okay, and we got Eric of Oz behind me.
That's
So
right.
so anyway, he slipped and fell and broke his hip on his way to take his car to the shop for an oil change. The first thing he did when he fell and the people from the community came to get him and help him and take him to the hospital and everything was he said, call my girlfriend and tell her not to pick me up.
Of course he
That's
did.
the thing. He had a
And God bless him.
77-year-old girlfriend. So
What was he, 97?
unfortunately, the next 2 months were 2.5 months were him sliding down pretty rapidly. I didn't do well with the surgery, and he passed. Right before, literally the day that I was supposed to meet with hospice. He passed away overnight that night. So I had a meeting with him with the people at his where he was getting his care, scheduled for that morning, but he didn't make it to that point. So, but I got to spend a lot of time with him during that time. I was there some part of every day that while he was in care, and got to learn a lot of things from him that I'd never known about his life. And he was in a movie theater in 1941, December 7th, 1941. He was in a movie theater and they turned off the movie and said, go home, because Pearl Harbor had been bombed.
Oh, well, that's right.
And he never told me that story. And he was in a movie theater in Norfolk, Virginia. And I said, what the heck were you doing in Norfolk, Virginia? He said, I don't remember, but I remember they sent us home.
Was he in the Navy? There's a naval post there, isn't there?
No, he was a civilian at the time. He ended up going into the Army Air Corps after that. But anyway, it was very wonderful time to spend with him and get stories and just be there sometimes just in silence.
And as you get older,
sometimes talking Redskins with him. He was a big Redskins fan.
Oh, excellent.
And
those are very, very special memories for you now.
He actually had his surgery on the night that the Washington Nationals won the pennant. So I was with him that night. So anyway, but spending time with him, my wife and her two sisters had cared for their mom for over 10 years as she had the slide down on dementia. And I watched that, and I've seen so many other people in my years of being alive and in the news and everything, people with dementia, people that need care, people that didn't know about care, didn't know what options were. And as I was searching for something to do, I stumbled across a webinar done by a guy named Don Quante, who is an expert on long-term care and long-term care insurance out in St. Louis. And Don was teaming up, or had teamed up for a long time, with a elder care law practice in Pennsylvania. And they had put together a system for insurance agents to plug into, where basically they would search the marketplace for all the different policies there was a network of lawyers and that the law firm had trained in their methodology around the country. And they were also aligned with the Dementia Society of America. And by the way, on my Facebook page for my birthday, which is April 24th, we are raising money for the Dementia Society of America. So anybody who wants to give to that wonderful cause, I would certainly appreciate it. It's not about me; it's about them. So that would give me a very happy birthday if you anybody that wants to do that. So that's on on Facebook, and you can just look up on the you'll see it on my page, Facebook, Dan Altmire. So getting back to it, anyway, that's kind of how I came to it. I was amazed at all of the tools that they had available. I spent a lot of time, I think one thing about me, Cynthia, is that when I'm interested in something, I dive pretty deeply into it, and I want to learn it. I want to get in the middle of it.
Great. Yes.
If I was a
there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
If I was an engineer, I would have torn a train apart or something, to find out how it works and then put it back together again.
Yeah, that would be fun.
But,
you can still do it.
But that wasn't my passion. So anyway, so that kind of brought us to the point where, prior to that, one of the other things that I was interested in was just longevity, being somebody who's past the 70 mark. I knew a lot of people. I was amazed at people like our friend Jeffrey and Wyatt Woodsmall.
Oh yes,
that are in their late 70s now and are
still going, looking for girlfriends, getting wives, traveling the world.
Yeah, and continuing to grow. And it inspired me to look at the fact that I think there are three things that when you're looking at planning the rest of your life, whether you're 50, you're 60, you're 70, you're 80, whatever. And the three components are, what's my destiny? It doesn't matter what you've already done. You're still here and you're here for a reason. And you have this wealth of experience and wisdom and knowledge that other people don't have because you've gone through the experience and what works and what doesn't work, as long as you're not a negative Nelly, that kind of thing. And so embracing your destiny is one of the keys to having great longevity. If you have a passion for something, you have a reason to get up in the morning. And it's not to turn on CNN or Fox News or MSNBC or
not to knock them,
or Bluey even. As a grandparent, I get to watch all kinds of cool things like Mickey Mouse and Bluey and all those things.
That's terrific. That's good for
you. Bluey is amazing. If you haven't watched Bluey, anybody who hasn't watched Bluey, you got to watch Bluey. It's funnier for the parents than it is for the kids.
And Sharks, have you watched Sharks yet? I hear that was a good one for the kids.
I have not.
Hey, Eric.
One groovy dude. Okay.
Yes, you are. Baby, baby, baby. Woohoo.
So anyway, so the first thing is embracing your destiny. The second thing is building your legacy. When you're not here, what are you leaving behind? And in financial services, the big thing with legacy is about money. How much money are you going to leave? and everything. But money lasts 1 or 2 generations.
Rockefellers did
And
better.
then it kind of dissipates, especially if you have, like me, 7 grandkids and stuff like that. Eighth is on the way. So what kind of legacy is that? And that is the legacy going to be a family legacy? Is it going to be a book that you wrote? Is it going to be that you volunteered to teach kids how to do something? Is
Read.
it volunteered to feed the homeless? I don't know what your legacy, but you still have time to build your legacy. And then the third area is living the rest of your life with dignity. And that is about planning. 70% of people over the age 65 will be in a care situation before they die. So that's
grandkids. Dan has 7. Woohoo!
Almost 8.
Almost 8. That's right. Wow.
Almost 8 in the oven.
Meanwhile, he's deciding how to do it, right? With all those kids.
So anyway, that the key thing, part of dignity is planning in advance, planning so that you don't run out of money, whether you're sick or you're healthy. We used to have a pension system in America where people would have a pension.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that Medicare will take care of you if you go into a nursing home. It doesn't. Or if you need home care, it doesn't, unless it's specific to something that you're recovering from. But once you get to a certain point where you're not in a recovery mode, they don't cover it. So the key thing is having a plan. And what I say to my younger friends is, do you know what your parents' plan is? And that most of them go, no, I'm a little afraid to even talk to them about that. And my answer to them is, if you don't know what your parents' plan is, it's probably you. And I know you know that, Cynthia.
Yes, I do, because I became it.
You became that. And by the way, women are typically, women are typically the caregiver in the family. But then in a lot of families, it becomes a bone of contention through the whole process. And the way you can get around that is by planning. But what a lot of people don't know is that they're actually plans where you can even be in a nursing home and still get a type of long-term care funding.
I bet a lot of people need to learn about that one.
Yeah. And so I was writing my book on longevity, and I said, the more I'm working in the area of long-term care planning, I realize that I need to get something out now because I still have interviews to do and still have a lot more research to do in my my other book on longevity. I became compelled to get this other book that I've got coming out, Aging Gracefully, Planning Thoughtfully, Financial Planning Strategies for Dementia and Long-Term Care, which hopefully will be out by May 1st.
Woo-hoo!
May 1st. Keep an eye out on social media. I'll be definitely promoting that as we get it. As Cynthia and I were talking about in the green room, getting a book out, just because you finished writing it doesn't mean that it's automatically going to happen. You still have a lot of other steps that you have to get done. And to make sure that the final product is what you're looking for. So we're closing the gap on that, but I think it's so important to get the tools out to people so that people know that there are solutions. Most people think about long-term care insurance, and they think about long-term care insurance of the early 2000s, where it was a medically based policy, and that the rates would go up on a regular basis. And some of the companies have gone out of business, and everything else. There's a whole plethora. I love that word. There's a whole plethora of different options that are out there, and different ways to fund long-term care. And most people don't know about it. Most financial advisors don't know about it. And so
you're going to have to train them too.
But what I like to say to people, is that if you're having heart surgery, you don't want to go to your PCP, your personal care physician. You want to go to a specialist, and so I don't do investments. I don't follow up with anything like that. I just basically help people. My passion right now is to help people prepare for possibility of long-term care, so that they don't run out of money in a bad situation. So.
And what are your top 3 things that you would tell somebody that has an aging parent that they should get started with, not only for the aging parent, but for themselves?
The first thing is to have a discussion, and not be accusatory, because a lot of people in my generation are a little crusty about, people talking to them about their age. Wow, I've got everything taken care of. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, my daughter's going to take care of me. Well, where's your daughter live? She lives in Minnesota. Where do you live?
Bedroom
I live in Annapolis. Well, okay. Does she know about that? No, but she'll take care of me. But that would disrupt her whole family. Then maybe she will take care of you, but do you have compensation built in so that her family doesn't disintegrate because of that whole situation? There's a lot of things involved in the planning. So, but the first thing to do is to have a discussion,
okay,
with them and say, what is your plan? And if you're afraid to do that, the other side of that, Cynthia, is to make a plan for yourself and then take it to your parent and say, this is my plan. I was wondering what yours is.
That's good.
That's less threatening.
That's
less
really
threatening.
good. I like that one.
Yeah. This is my plan.
Wish I'd known about it.
Yeah, I know. Well, you didn't meet me until 2020. I'm sorry.
I know. And actually, I do have mine already in place.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So you should, after your experience, but
I did it at the same time I was doing yours. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah. So,
but nowadays everything keeps changing. So that's number 1. What's number 2?
Well, that was number 1 is have the discussion.
Right.
Number 2 is make sure you have all the documents that are necessary.
Mm-hmm.
The will, the living will, who's going to be the person. I always think of the Seinfeld episode with Kramer saying he wanted Elaine to be the person that would decide whether they pulled the plug or not. And until he saw the end of the movie that he was looking at and saw that the person lived. And then he was like, no, I don't want you to be that person. So,
but that's not funny. Yeah. You have
lining things up. and the documentation, because you don't want to have to spend $20,000 on a conservatorship because those documents aren't in place, or die intestate, which means that there's no will. It's a big enough mess when people die, and you have I know you and I were talking about all the stuff, the volume of stuff that people collect in their life, and you don't know what to do with it, when at the end. And then the third thing is, once you have that in place, you don't have to think about it.
You have to
Once
keep
you have it
updating
in
it.
place,
People move.
it's like I liken it to Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Okay.
Okay. And if you've got the foundation taken care of, if you know that I've got a plan, if I'm one of those 70% of the people who needs care after age 65, at some point in their life after age 65, if I got a plan in place for that, then I don't have to think about it every time one of my friends goes into care. Think, oh my God, what's going to happen with me? I hope that doesn't happen to me. You don't have to think about that. You can think about embracing your destiny. You can think about building your legacy and not have to look over your shoulder. And I know that you believe in the law of attraction. And if you're thinking all the time about what's going to happen, if the bad thing happens, chances are the bad thing's going to happen.
Yeah, don't even think about it, because
Okay,
we're flying here. We're spreading our wings and flying.
Yeah.
So those were very good 3 topics there for you all to address, for yourself, for your loved ones, and make sure your children do it and your parents do it, up and down the hierarchy of family. Yes.
Right. Absolutely. And some people say to me, how young can you be to get a long-term care policy? I have clients that are 30 who've already got their own long-term care, and it's dirt cheap. And now they have policies that you can pay on for 10 years, and they're paid up for the rest of your life.
Ooh, I wish I got one of those. That was smart.
Well, we can talk.
Oh, we should check it out, actually, make sure I'm up to date, because everything changes and there's new and better
Well,
improvements all the
another
time.
real quick thing, I know we're getting to the end here, but one other real quick thing is a lot of people have plans that are in place and documents that are in place that are 10, 15 years old. And things have changed.
Yeah, mine could be, actually.
And I mean, if you look at, I had a webinar that I've done on inflation and long-term care. If you follow the inflation from 2019 up until starting in 2020 until now, something that cost $1,000 in a service that cost $1,000 in 2019 would be about, next year will be about $1,400.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had a $10,000 a month benefit, well, and you said, well, I'm gonna need $10,000 worth of benefit per month, and something happened, now it would be $14,000 in place instead of the $20,000, the $10,000 that you had planned for. So it is important to, as you mentioned, update your plan and your documents. You might have somebody who's no longer with us, or who you don't like anymore. You don't want them to be the one that's going to pull the plug.
These are very important topics, everybody. So as soon as you finish your taxes, get this one done.
Your ex or something like that. I mean, you got to watch out for that stuff.
How can people access their current financial risk, assess their current financial risk, and determine if they're adequately prepared for potential long-term care or dementia expenses?
Call me.
Call Dan. Okay, we don't have your phone number up there. You want to rattle it off? Or
Sure.
you know what? Actually, don't you have one of your websites? You go down, you put in your email, and that way you can also get the heads up on the new book. Didn't I read that someplace?
I don't have anything on the new book, but I do
Oh, but
have
that's a free
but
thing.
right. But I have another free report, and I'll send you the link to that. You can put that up and when you send this in.
Okay. Do you want to tell Eric and he can put it up right now?
I don't have it right in front of me here, so well, you know what? I can. So hold on.
Yeah.
Do, do, do.
Meanwhile, while you're doing that,
Actually, if you just go to championhumancapital.com, up in the right-hand corner, it says dementia focused practice. We are certified as a dementia focused practice, and there's a little thing you can click on up there where it says dementia focused practice, and it will take you to a free report.
which I signed up for, by the way.
Oh, good. And that way I will get back in touch with you because we need to email it to you and we can go from there.
And that way you can get on his list for the new book because
Absolutely.
yeah, this aging gracefully, planning thoughtfully, financial planning strategies for dementia and long-term care. I wonder what that looks like in the initials, just if you put it on the side so you can go AGPTFPSDLTC. Who does that stand for? Woohoo! Dan Altmire. Anyway, so how can people assess their current financial risk and determine if they're prepared for long-term care and dementia expenses?
Well, we do an assessment
Mhm.
with people, so we will go down and look not only at their financial situation, their current plans, but also you know what their health is, because different insurance companies will accept different risks. And some people think, oh, well, I was turned down by the XYZ insurance company 3 years ago. Well, that doesn't mean you're not going to get approved by somebody else. And so
Mm.
we actually have an underwriting team in the agency where we can actually look at this and get a good feel of who would be the best insurance company to talk to about that, or which insurance companies there's no don't even look here, you know. And so it's a full picture, not just a picture of your finances, not just a picture of uh, your health, but also a picture of, you know, what is your plan? Who are you going to who's going to provide that care for you, and are they on board with the plan? So it's a process. It's a conversation. It's not a online assessment type of tool.
Yeah, each person's deeply personal.
It's a
And each
bespoke process.
situation is yes.
Yeah, it's bespoke, and you know, you being a model, you understand bespoke. You know, made for you.
With the health.
Thank you, Eric. Where would I be without you?
He's adorable. In closing, I actually picked up one of these books. This is the pocketbook of quotations. It was one of my mother's.
Oh, that's really nice.
And actually her girlfriend gave it to her. And it says, Francis, for your bookshelf, Peggy, 1953.
Wow.
So just for fun, I pulled it up and then I found in there, actually, there's something I made her. Remember when you used to take the linoleum and carve it out and make a little print
Oh
thing?
yeah,
So I have
that's so cool.
two mother, a rose, love a rose. And I was like, oh, and she had that, and then there's a little 4-leaf clover there. But the purpose that I brought out this book was I pulled out a couple destiny quotes.
Okay.
I think you probably know them all. No man of woman born, coward or brave, can shun his destiny. Homer. I know you've got probably a few. I'll do one more and then you do one. This generation of Americans has a rendezvous with destiny. Franklin D. Roosevelt in his address in 1936. And if God in his wisdom have brought close the day when I must die, that day by water or fire or air, my feet shall fall in the destined snare wherever my road may lie. D.J. Rosetta, The King's Tragedy. So I just thought those were some to add. I love the ones like when you stand in front of the Statue of Liberty and you had the ties behind you and Abraham Lincoln, and it just brings your destiny into focus and what you're going to leave for your grandchildren, your children,
Absolutely.
world.
And,
Teach
you
the
know,
world to
I'm
sing.
trying to find a quote that I don't want to botch it, so
And what are you doing for the world for your destiny? I want to make sure everyone can read and swim. Make sure you can teach everyone how to swim. There's no reason for drownings in swimming pools. Don't swim without a lifeguard. Know your equipment before you go scuba diving. Wear a life preserver on your boats. Summer's coming. I got to start my campaign again. Keep your trash with you. Don't put it in the oceans, the rivers, and the lakes. Destiny.
So here's one that I like, and I just looked it up because I didn't want to
go. Yes, let's hear it.
Wait, where I want to make sure I got the whole quote. So
okay,
hold on, just a second.
Up with the
I know we're wrapping up here.
Dan's destiny. Woohoo!
Hope is like the sun, which, as we journey towards it, casts the shadow of our burdens behind us. It lends promise to the future and purpose to the past. It turns discouragement to determination.
Ooh.
Samuel Clemens.
Oh, I like. Read it again, please.
Okay. Hope is like the sun, which, as we journey towards it, casts the shadow of our burden behind us. It lends promise to the future and purpose to the past. It turns discouragement to determination.
That is beautiful. Beautiful.
That was 1878, I think.
Ooh. That is really good. Well, thank you so much, Dan. Oh, yes, we don't want any litter. Don't mess with Texas or anywhere in the United States of America or anywhere in the world because we are all one. Okay, Eric's going to catch the replay. You can all catch the replay. Share this out. We're on like 7 things. Facebook, StreamYard, YouTube, you name it, Twitter. Eric's got it. And put your email in if you haven't gotten our little invitations to come, send us your email. You can send it to Dan or me or Eric Rodriguez. And we look for you at the next Cynthia Manion Show, Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for being with us. And you are amazing.
You are amazing.
I am amazing.
I am amazing.
We are amazing.
You are amazing.
Yes. Have a blessed day, night, year. See you next week. Thank you.